Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and for those who have watched my previous tutorials or videos, thank you so much for coming back. Today I would like to film how I make this kind of teardrop loop with the uneven number colors on each side. So as you can see, this one you have orange and yellow apart from the black, and blue and green on the other side. And usually for the teardrop loop, the easiest one would be attach the thread to make the loop in the center of all the other threads. And of course that will mean that both sides have same numbers of colors of threads. So in order to make this kind of teardrop loop with these different numbers of threads, I do a little differently. It's practically the same. It's just that how you attach the thread in the middle is a little different. And so I would like to film and add some explanation on how I do and how I decide on the length of the threads, and in order to do that, today I will use the pattern number 74549, and this pattern is chosen as the official monthly challenge of a bracelet book, and that's one reason I wanted to try this pattern. And I realized that they have it is a very cool pattern, as you can see, but where to cut or what kind of loop to start, what kind of start you would choose, it depends on how you prefer and how you like to try. And of course this is just one way, and if you like to do it without making teardrop loop, of course you can do like this, make a loop and attach, and then separate the thread and just cut the one which is odd number, like one thread. And then I usually try to make this kind of loop for rather thinner bracelets, because I feel little I find it hard to make a big bundle here and then separate it into two, and I prefer to make teardrop loop. And of course I also make the one which is on the side, and like the a diagonal one, and depending on the pattern I choose that too. Let me see if I can reach to the one of the example. Oh yes, so this is the one I'm making now, but like this way. This is another way to do it if the pattern allows. But for bigger patterns I prefer to use the teardrop loop after maybe 14, 12, 14 threads. So I just would like to share that what I'm doing for that kind of loop. So okay, so let's get started. Okay, so now I will set up all the threads to explain how I line up in order to make the loop in when I make the loop, teardrop loop for the uneven number of threads on each side. So as you can see, I wrote down, because it's a little hard to see the difference of color on this pattern, so I wrote down how they are all lined up on the B part that I would like to make the teardrop. And in order to find this B, everybody has their preferences, and I would like to say that I usually try to cut in the place that which looks the most natural for me. So here you can see this line, and in fact, if there, for example, you can see that there's this line too, and of course you can cut here, and that will make a V along this black line, and that's also fine. And what I try to do on this one is I wanted to show this white part, so that's my preference. And of course you can have a different preference, and everybody's different, so please don't worry about what is right or wrong. And so in this one I made here in order to include this shape, and then so here that you will include the blue part too. So here you can see that some of the numbers you can see evenly. For example, A, you see 2 on this side and 2 on this side. And D, the same thing. And then for example, F, you see both on this side. And then for B, you see both on this side. And C and G, one each. And then E, again, on both sides. So one reason I chose E as the loop color is because for me, I don't know, maybe there is a way, but in order to make a teardrop, the one you use for the loop color has to be the one which has on both sides. So I could have chosen A or D, or let's see, is that the only option? Maybe, yes. So either I could have chosen A or D or E. So I wanted to choose the middle color, so that's why I chose the color E, which is the center blue. So I'll set up the thread now. And so first, I will just put the loop color, which will be the loop color, the longest one. And then this is folded into half, and I just put it here so that you will know what I'm trying to do. I will add this thread in the center of all the threads after I set it up. So I do like this. And then I will look for the A, because this is probably the easiest one. So A, there are 4 on the pattern. That means there are 2 threads, and then so you can see the center, and then I'll just spread like this. You don't have to worry too much about the center because you can always adjust later. So I'll just put it in the center so that you can see. It's very hard because the camera, I couldn't sit up on the center of the table, so I just set up like this. So now you can see there are 2 A, both on both sides. And I'll continue with the easiest one to explain, the D. So 1 each. So D is actually the second strongest blue. So this is the center, so I just spread like this and lay it here. The table is a little small, so it's a little hard. And then, so this is the E. So the third color I will use for the loop. And then color F. As you can see, F, it appears on both sides on this pattern. So, I'm sorry, one side on this pattern. So I will lay F like this. And then the G color, it also appears on left side, so a little part to make the loop, and I will lay it like this. Hope it doesn't slide down. And then we move on to the black and white, which are appear both on the right side. So, and the bee, you have 2 on the pattern, so it will be like this. And then the white also appears on the right side. So here is the center of the loop. And basically, so this is the idea. Okay, so because this is a 14 thread pattern, there should be 7 threads on each side. So 1, which I'm using for the loop, 2, 3, 4, and then this doesn't count, 5, 6, 7. And on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So, and then in order to make the part to add this, what I do is this and this, I just kind of crisscross. So it's just basically you just need 1 thread on the other side. So basically this is the little trick that I usually do. And then this and this just overlap like this, and then we'll make the first lark head knot onto the center of this. And again, I think mine too, and maybe yours too, it's not really in the center anymore for everyone. So after I add it, I'll just adjust. And then another thing is for these 1 thread, and it will be hard to make the loop if the ones coming out from the center is very short. So recently I have changed how I do it. What I do is actually I just overlap a lot, not totally like in the middle, but overlap a lot so that I can easily make the loop, and then after I make the loop, I just adjust. So now I just add the center, the first lark head knot. I think this was the center, let's see, yes, sort of. So, which will be easier. So like this. Then put it through. And I just make like this. And of course you need a lot of adjustment and like make sure that this bar is really tight and that kind of make it loose. And so this is basically the first lark head knot, and then you can see that on the right side you need the colors you need for the pattern to make the teardrop loop. So I'll just show up to here. So there'll be backward forward knots on this side, and please make sure that because this side will be on the outer curve, so the one you start with like this would be this side should be the right side of this V shape. So all the threads here are on this side. So there'll be backward forward knots. So it's 14 threads, so I'll make it's hard either 13, so I make 6 or 7 on one side, 2, and then again, the reason I overlapped more than the actual length that I will use in the end is because in order to hold this, you need some length. And if I just kept it here, it will be very hard to make those backward forward knots. And that's the reason. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, I just kind of look at it and I think it's enough. If I make one more, it will be too long, so I'll stop here. But of course, if you like longer teardrop loop, please I just try to see if this is enough. And usually for 14 threads, I think this is good. 14 is a little tricky. For 12 or 16, I kind of know that what kind of length, but 14 thread pattern, I haven't done many, so did I do 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7? Sorry, I had to do one more at least, maybe 6. Or is this still too much? If I think it's a little too much, I kind of push up, and I think I didn't use, I just reused the tape which was here. And sometimes it helps because when it's too strong, it sticks too much, but I think it was way too weak. So, and this is, again, I will make it in the center, but when I make it, I don't really worry too much because I just add one tape here. So it will be 13 large knots in total. Now I'm not in the center. There you go. Okay. Okay. So now I made the first initial loop. Then I push up because actually it's kind of more than enough. And then by pushing up, we'll make some kind of space so that actually it will help to cover the crossbar. Okay, so after I made this loop, what I did was make sure that the end of the threads are in the right place. So basically, we made these two 20 centimeters long, so that has to be long and then even. Yes, there's a little difference, but and then the other threads are about the same length, and then the other side too, all the same length. And then this was used for the loop, and there's a little extra because I made 35 centimeters longer, and that was more than enough to make the loop. And of course there's a few centimeters or a few inches sticking out. And of course when you close like this, and then both sides have to be fairly even. And of course when you pull the so here it is, so it's all about the same length and all even, apart from these 3 that we need to make the long I mean not a lot, so that we need it long. And then now we're gonna close. So here I do use a little trick too, and so as you can see, this V shape is important. And where you look at is, so these are the knot under this line is the color, which is going to be shown as the first line after you attach. And then, so where you look at is, I think most of people probably know, but so start with A, so this one, and then D, E, F, G, F, A. So this is how I will attach on the left side with forward backward knot. There's one thing though I will do in order to make the loop neat later. So first was A. So A is this dark blue, and so I take this out and make forward to all the bundles. Forward, and yes, so it's a little tricky here. Forward and backward. Make sure you wrap everything. The attaching was not really nice. Sorry. A. And then the next one will be D. So it's the second strongest blue. So which one was it? I think it's this one. Yes. So just please make sure that you choose the thread wisely. And I think I explained in the one tutorial before, but when it's like little on the forward side, like when you see it, I always pass through some other threads, because otherwise there will be some little extra bump. That's what I noticed. So this is how I do. So forward. Then backward. Then I'll do probably one more before I do this little trick. So E is the one I use for the loop. So it's this one. Make sure I come rather from the little back, not totally from the back, like, but the little back from the side. So, oh, back, forward, backward, not. And then from here, so after I do a few, and right in the middle of this side, what I do is just this short one. I don't do it until the very end, but I do just keep it on the side, backward, and I will not knot together. And the reason is because when I cut, I used to cut here, or after I made the loop, and then that, when I do it here, it was a little not secured when I cut right here. And then when I cut in the center, from both sides there's strings. So when I cut both sides, it actually was easier to show. And this is my preference, and of course you can do in another way, I'm sure. So I did A, D, E, and now F. One of the F, because there will be two F. So it's this one again. This is in the front. So what I do is like this, backward, and of course without the short one it's easier now. And there's no strict rule when I do it. I usually do in the middle, so there are 7 threads, so I do it in the 3, and then I cut later on the back side. 3, so that was F, and now it's G, so the lightest color. So it's right here, but instead of doing it from the front, I kind of pass it backwards, or at least one thread back, so that it comes out from there and then forward. And backward. Okay, so the next one will be F again. So the A is the only one which is here. Okay. Alright, so now we move on to the right side. And then I'll do the same way. So it will be D. Which one was D? So the second dark blue. So it will be this one. Make sure that it will not come on the front side, but rather on the back side. I usually wrap this one. This is my style, but of course everybody has a different way of doing it. So if you are already familiar with, make a loop. So that will be now backward forward knot on this side. Okay. Backwards. Just the first part, especially make sure there's no space. Forward. So that was D, and there will be A, so darkest blue. So not too back, I said back, but like side, but just make sure that it doesn't have that little lump. Oh, it's down over here. Okay. So, backward. Forward. Then another A. Yes, with the short one. That's one reason I try to make it long when I make this loop. So, but this one I have no choice but to do like this for now. So just the last one included the short one. And now, so I did 3. So I'll do the same thing. So it's on the back side. So I just kind of pull it on the back, add it in this tape or clip if you use clip. I usually use clipboard for the normal pattern. It's just to demonstrate. This is much easier for me. So now I did 3, and now it will be B, which is black. Backward. Okay, so after this, B, it's C. Yes, there's a little bump already, but yes. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's not. It depends on the thread I used. You can see the little bump inside. I hope I can hide it well. Adjust. And then the last one on this side would be B again. The last part. Okay. shown too much. Maybe the last one I should have just passed the thread through. And then, so, you can see that I added the threads up to here. And then for this one, you may notice the center too. Like, what am I supposed to do? And actually, it will be the one above here. So, not this one, but above here. So, because it has to connect here. So, what I do is I actually follow exactly the same way. And if this is not the backward forward knot or forward backward knot, I kind of switch it so that when I knot, and then the right thread comes on the right side. So for this one, it's actually easy because E is on the right and A is on the left, and you just have to follow the knot itself, which is backward forward knot. And this is how I do, and I have done quite a few ways, and then I sometimes didn't tie here just to follow the pattern, and then that didn't work very well. And I'm sure there's a way to other ways to do, and this is how I do, and because I find this one easiest, but I haven't checked how other people do, so if it's different, please find the way that is easiest for you so that it's easy to remember and do it. And I cut this later, so basically this is the teardrop loop that you can see the uneven number of threads on both sides. And so I'll just show how I do the left side and the right side along just the first line so that you have a better idea. So I'll just knot all the way here and all the way here. So the first one, so you can see it's here, so the A is here and B is here. So it's basically the same way as you always knot. So just do this, the backward knot, and then the backward knot using the one next to it. And I usually do segment knotting, but for the first row I usually just follow it, and then I think about how I do the segment knotting later. So, because I would like to secure the shape first, so by knotting right below, it will help. So, and that'll be another backward knot in here. And now this will be backward forward knot. And then backward knot. I mean, sorry, forward knot. Yes. Now the right side, so the backward knot, 2 backward knots, using the outermost thread onto the 2 A's. Now 1 forward knot. backward knot, and then I connect to the center by doing one backward knot. All right, so basically this is it, and I'll cut the short one in the end, and as you can see, you could make the teardrop loop here. Just make sure that you adjust here. You have to use a lot of adjustment maybe, just to make it smooth and neat. And of course, teardrop loop, the more you knot, it kind of shapes too. In the beginning it's a little odd, and so I think this is good. And then I'll just check the pattern. So now I just finish up to here, and then so this is there's no one way to do a segment knotting on this one, but what I would probably do now is that, so first of all, I'll just finish this triangle. So I just did, so here, and then complete up to here. And then I will probably do this side. So kind of like always think of the black line and then do it, and then I'll finish the black line up to here, and then so I did up to here. So yes, so I will finish the white line and then the black line all the way backward knots, and then I will probably do this triangle. And because the pattern is divided, and I got a question about how to read the pattern, I think the easiest way is probably make the same copy and attach so that you can see exactly what you need to do, or just finish up to here, and I think it will make sense on this pattern by just doing up to here. The reason is because the next one is all, oh sorry, next one, the first row is all forward backward knot, so it's kind of changed the direction. So probably it's easy to just finish up to here and then start freshly here, and then make this triangle, do the black line, and then stop here again, white line. So yes, I have to actually do it, and usually I don't really plan. I just do little by little, and by the time I do up to the middle, I kind of know the pattern, and I don't usually remember, but at least I can kind of do the same segment knotting style. And so usually I look for those triangles, and if there is a place like this with forward backward knots or backward forward knots, I stop right above and then restart from here. If the triangle gets too big, like here, I will probably do up to here, and then just to do like this. So I don't have clear rule to how I choose the segment knotting part, but the rule is always try to find the triangle, and also make sure that the knot you do, both threads coming above there, all the knots are finished. Because for example, if this knot is not finished, you can never knot here even after you finish here. So always make sure that you see, and the one above, both sides are done. And if you follow that rule, I think you will find the right way. And then until you find that, because I didn't know until I made a few bracelets, and I was just doing row by row, one each, and that is also one way. And if you make sure that you don't miss the row, that is also that is also a good way to do it. So I hope you will find the right way for you to enjoy and feel most comfortable. Okay, so I spoke too much again, but I hope it was useful, and I wanted to show this today because I have been receiving the question each time when I post the bracelets, which I use this technique. So, and I hope it was helpful for people who would like to try the teardrop loop. And so thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you soon. Okay, so let's start from the length of the threads. And there I already cut all the threads I need, and there are 8 threads. So 6 of them are doubled, so that will make 12, and then 1 each because there's only 1 thread, and the rest there are 2 threads each on the pattern. And I'll explain in 2 groups. So this one group, these are all blue as you can see, and then that will be here A, D, E, F, G. So I wrote in order of the color, the strength of the colors. So A is the darkest one, and it's not in order on the pattern. So, and then the second one is D, third one is E, fourth one is F, and the lightest one is G. So, and then B and C are the ones which run through the pattern. And B, I chose dark brown, so I would call it black. And then the C, C is the one which is white here. And then the reason I have 5 different lengths is, so first with the blue I have 3 different lengths. So for A, this we need 4 threads, so 4 threads on the pattern, so that will mean 2 long threads and fold it into half. And then for D, we need 2 threads, so I cut 1 long one and fold it into half. And then for F, I cut the same way. So these are all the same lengths. And then for G, we only need 1, so it's a different length. And then for E, it's basically the same length in principle as the other 4 threads because we fold them into half. But I would like to use this as the loop color. So in order to use for the loop, I added the length. And then, so that's why there are 5 different lengths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the length, so basically I usually decide on the standard length. And for this one, because it's 14 threads pattern, I use 92 centimeters. It will be probably long, but I don't want to run out. And I will usually make between 90 to 100 centimeters. So I will make this one side 92. So all of these 4 are 184 centimeters and folded into half. So that's one type. And then for the lightest color, G, this is 92 centimeters plus there's extra 5 centimeters. So it will be like this when I put all the length. And the reason is because you need this part, this 5 centimeters, for that curved loop part. And then for the color E, which I use for the, which is actually the center color of these 5 blue. This I made it to 184 centimeters and added 35 centimeters because I will need it to make the loop. And then for these 2, I made, so these 2, I actually added the length because on the pattern you basically use the whole thing. So I made the black one 110 centimeters in one side, so 220 centimeters, and fold it into half. And then for the one which runs through, but we just need 110 centimeters, and again just like this G, I added 5 centimeters because you need that curved part to be included in the loop. So this is probably the longest thread length guide I have made, and it is a bit confusing, and I usually make mistake and I have to cut, so it might be a little confusing. I hope I could explain clear enough. So just a quick review. So for A, we need 4 on the parents, so 2 long threads, 184 centimeters, 2 of them, and then D, which is the second strong blue, same thing, 184, and then for the F, which is the 4th strongest, because we use the 3rd one in the middle color as a loop, so those 4 threads, 184 centimeters, and folded them into half. And then for the lightest one, G, color G, we need just 1, so 92 centimeters plus 5 centimeters, so 97 centimeters. And then for the loop one, I use this length, same as this, 184 centimeters, and added 35 centimeters, so again, okay, 200, 184, 290, 19? Yes. So 184 plus just the part to make the loop, so added 35 centimeters. 35. No, I said it wrong, didn't I? I'm sorry. Huh? 84 and 35. No, I think I did say 219 centimeters. So basically 220 centimeters. When I talk, I can't really calculate, so sorry. I probably needed the calculator. And then this one, I made it so 220 centimeters. Coincidentally, it's the same, basically the same length, because I wanted 110 centimeters to make all the knots, because you can see you use a lot. And then this one is 110 centimeters, and just added 5 centimeters, so 115 centimeters.